Hello guys, welcome back to mathematics. Today we are going to talk about the equation of a line. This is an example of a line drawn in the plane. So for the plane we are working with the x and y axis. So what is the equation of a line? Since it's an equation, that means it has to have an equals and something related to another something, right? In this case, what's the relation that is important for us? It's the relation between x and y. So in this equation, what we are going to find is some numbers and operations, including the values of x and y. And that is because we want an expression that is going to relate every point in the number line. For example, for this point, the coordinates are 1, 3. That means the x value is 1 and the y value is 3. Or for example, for this point, we have the point -2, -3. In this case, when x is -2, y is -3. So we want an expression that relates those values, so we are going to be able to find any point in the line. For example, for this line, the equation is y equals to x plus 1. Let's give it a try, for example, with this point that we already know that is 1, 3. Let's see if it meets the condition. So it says that y, which is 3, should be equals to 2 times 1 plus 1. Let's see, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So yes, this is equals. So every point that is on the line is going to meet that condition. For example, let's do another try with this one. This is the point 0, 1. So that means that when y is 1 and x is equals to 0, then this statement should be true. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. And yes, 1 is equals to 1. So it meets the condition. So a line is basically all the points in the plane that meet the condition of the equation. Okay, now we know what is an equation of a line. So let's check its components. So in the standard form, we are going to express the equation line as y equals to a number multiplied by x plus another number. These two numbers are important. This one is called the slope, and this one the intercept. Let's study them. So first one, the slope. The slope is going to tell us how steep is the line. For example, for this one, the slope is 2. Let's see what happens when I change it for a bigger slope. So when it's 3, notice that the line gets steeper. 4, 5, it's getting steeper each time. 10, notice how it goes closer to the vertical line. And actually, conceptually, the slope of a vertical line would be an infinity slope. But of course, that's not a number, so we cannot write it that way. What we would write is x equals 0, because notice that in this case, x is equals 0. It doesn't matter the value of y. X is always 0 for all these points. Like 0, 4, here 0, -2. So it doesn't matter the value of that y takes, x is always going to be 0. That's why we write the equation like this one. Of course, if it doesn't pass through x equals 0 but another number like 2, then the equation would be that value. In this case, x equals 2, because the value that x is taking every time is 2. 2, 3, here 2 minus 3, 2 minus 2. Notice that x is always 2. So that's how an equation of a vertical line looks like. Let's go back to a slope of 1. So a slope of 1 is like having 45 degrees here. Of course, if you have the scale in x and y the same size, otherwise it looks a little different. Let's see what happens when we make it smaller. 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/10. Notice how it gets closer to the horizontal line. And actually, when the slope is 0, we are talking about a horizontal line. So we don't need to write this part. In this case, it would be just y equals 1, because that's the point where it crosses the y-axis. And of course, at any point, it doesn't matter the value of x, y is always going to be 1. See here, -3 and 1, always 1. So that is the equation of a horizontal line. But we could keep going. changing the slope. We could make it negative. Notice how it looks like. So basically, when you have a negative slope, it's like when someone is walking down that slope from left to right. When it's negative, the guy is going down. When it's positive, the guy is going up. Always going from left to right. And if you do the magnitude a little bigger, then it gets steeper, but would still going down. For example, minus 1/4. It's steeper, but it's still going down. Minus 1/3, minus 1/2, and minus 1. And of course, if we keep going, making it bigger, but negative, it gets steeper and steeper. Minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and so on. That's what the slope does in the equation of the line. It's just gonna show you how steep the line is. Now let's check the intercept. The intercept is where in the y-axis the line crosses the axis. So notice that in this case is 1 because the line is crossing the y-axis at the value of 1. So that is the intercept. So notice that if we move it, like we make it 2, then it's like taking the line and translate it up 1 unit. Now it's gonna cross the y-axis at 2, at 3, and we could keep going. It could also cross at the origin. In that case, the intercept would be 0. So there's no need to write it, right? We could just write it as y equals to 1/2 x, for example. We could also make it negative, minus 1, minus 2. So notice that the slope is about how steep the line is, and the intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So let's see how to actually find it when we have a line drawn in a plane. How could we find the equation? So we have, again, the line is going to be expressed in this way. Y is equals to the slope multiplied by x plus b, which is the intercept. The slope is found in this way. Notice this is just a difference in y over a difference in x. So we just need 2 points that belong to the line. Like in this case, I took these 2 points, point 1 and point 2. So these are going to be x1 and y1 and x2, y2. That we are going to use in this equation to find the slope. So slope is equals to y2, which is minus 1, minus y1, which is 3, over x2, which is 1, minus x1, which is 3. Minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4, 1 minus 3 is minus 2, so the slope is positive 2. And yes, you can see that the guy is actually going up, so we expected to have a positive slope, and it's steeper than the 45 degrees, so it's good. The slope is equals 2. After finding that the slope is 2, then we need to find the intercept. We can see it in the graph, but maybe the graph is not perfect, or sometimes we don't even have the graph, we have just the points. So we need to learn how to find it without it. So we are just going to take 1 point that belongs to the line, any of them. In this case, I'm going to use 3, 3, the point 1, and I'm gonna put it in the equation. So I'm going to plug in y and x. So the only one that I don't know, it would be b. That way I could find it. So 3 is equals 2 times 3 plus b. 3 is equals to 2 times 3 is 6 plus b. Now I subtract minus 6 both sides. That would let me just b and 3 minus 6. So minus 3 is equals to b. Then the equation of the line is going to be y equals 2x minus 3. Well, let's see what happens when I have the equation of the line and I actually need to draw it. Well, in that case, I just need to give some values for x and find the values of y. So I could draw some points in the number line and then cross a line between them. Let's say 0, 1, and 2. I'm gonna look for 3 of them, but with 2 is enough because you just need 2 points to draw a line. So when x is equals 0, then y is minus 2 times 0 plus 2, which is minus 2 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. In this case, it would be minus 2 times 1 plus 2. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2 plus 2 is 0. And finally, minus 2 times 2 plus 2 It's equals to minus 2 times 2 is minus 4, plus 2 is minus 2. So let's check these points. When x is 0, y is 2. So that means the point 0, 2 should be on the line. The point 1, 0 should be in the line. And the point 2 minus 2 should be also in the line. Notice how they are in the same straight line. Let's cross it. Then this is the line that the equation represents. Okay guys, now it's your time to practice. Please, in this plane, represent this line, and for B, find the equation of this line. Try to solve it, pause the video, and come back in a second that I'll show you what is the solution. Okay, let's see. So again, I'm just going to give some values for x. I'm going to give it 0 and 1. Remember, I just need two of them. Minus 2 times 0 plus 3 is equals 3. And minus 2 times 1 plus 3 is 1. That means the points 0, 3, 0, 3, oh, they repeat the same point, and 1, 1 are going to be part of the line. If you want to make sure, you can find another points and check that they are actually part of the line. For example, let's say 3. Minus 2 times 3 plus 3. That is equals to minus 3. So the point 3 minus 3 should be part. This is the line that we are representing. Now for the second part, remember we need to find the slope. So we could do 5 minus 3 over 5 minus 0. 5 minus 3 is 2, 5 minus 0 is 5, so the slope is 2/5. Okay, I have the slope, I just need to find the intercept. I'm going to take the point 1, which is 0, 3, and put it in the equation y equals mx plus b. Then y equals to m, that I know that is 2/5, mx, which is 0, plus b. Okay, this one goes to 0, and I have already that b is equals to 3. And yes, I can see it in the graph because 0, 3 actually belongs to the graph, so I had expected that b would be 3. Then the equation would be y equals 2/5 of x plus 3. This is the equation of the line. Okay guys, hope it was useful. Don't forget to subscribe, book your own lessons with me if you want, and drop any question you have in the comment box. Bye bye guys, see you next time.